Sasa, somebody, Achieng Masawa.
Yes.
Karibu sana katika mazungumzo. I'm really appreciate that you had the chance of coming here, and I know you were here yesterday, and you've always been here for any cause because you believe so other things, and you came very at age and you've been patient up to now. So we appreciate that, we don't take granted. Lakini, how are you?
Thank you so much. I'm thankful for this opportunity because wherever I want to be part of discussion where Kenya is being discussed, and that's why I am here today, and I kept time.
Can you please briefly tell us who you are?
Okay, my name is Jennifer Achieng Masawa. I prefer to go by Achieng Masawa. I was born 33 years ago in Mghanga sub-county in Siaya County. And at age of 5, I got interested in Kenyan politics and governance system through agitation by Governor James Orengo of Siaya County as a child. So I went to Siranga Primary School up to 2006. Then transitioned to Mia Girls National School in Siaya County, and I was really determined to go to University of Nairobi for one reason. I wanted to join SONU. So I ended up in University of Nairobi, and I got into the student leadership. So that is basically about my background. Yes, and I just want to add that I was raised in a very political household, and I watched my brother and mother being on the different side. My mother was a pro the late Honorable Raila Odinga person, and my brother was a pro James Orengo person who was on Ford Kenya then before transitioning to SDP. Thank you so much.
Yeah, then Orengo, of course, when he was in SDP, he was my chairman and I was his vice chairperson. But then, Jennifer,
yes,
you come from Uganda.
Yes.
And the Ugandan people have always been very patriotic and very resistant. I know I've heard about some resistance in Kenya during colonial time, the Arabs and so forth. They resisted the foreigners. Can you say something about that?
Yeah, thank you so much. You know, Kenyan history is not well captured because it didn't start in 2000. It started way long, and in Siaya County, we have micro communities, and every community has their own identity. And Ugenya people are always defined as the resilient, defiant, and stubborn. If you don't listen to them, you have to listen to them. And during pre-colonial period, colonial period, they were very organized people, and they fought wars. They won wars against Abawanga kingdom, and when Abawanga befriended the Arab for the long-distance trade, they defeated both the Abawanga and the Arabs and the Swahili. So they colluded further. Militarily, yeah, they were very organized. They had the hierarchy, they had the order. Like the social and political system for Ugenya people has always been neat, very neat, closely tied. So when the Bawanga and Arab Swahilis were defeated, they invited the British colonialists who now came with the gun. And still the Ugenya people defeated all that, because you cannot defeat a people organized and a people determined and a people united and very strong-willed. So in 1927, the fate that met Samoei Arap Koitalel in Nandi region befell the people of Ugenya. Their leader, called Chief Odipo Okwako, was deceived to go for a negotiation across the river in Mumias. So when he boarded the boat together with the delegation, they drowned them and they stole the spear. And this spear apparently is somewhere in England in one of the museums. So that is how, but still these people were determined and resilient because they were very organized. So immediately, because they'd created a functioning system and institution, immediately somebody, brother to Odipo or son of Odipo, took over, and he continued with resisting. So what they did, in Luo system we have something called Gunda. So they attacked the main Gunda called Gundanyiko, and that is how they managed to bring fear. And later the younger brother of Odipo Kwako, called Muganda Okwako, who now became a collaborator out of fear, was installed as a paramount chief at a younger age. So that is the brief story and history of Jougenya, which is even recorded in published papers, in books. Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate it, and I congratulate you for you at your age, and this time when you are just near GNC, really. It is very good that you can remember the history of your people. If we all in our people all remember the history, because there are a lot of history everywhere, then we will be more proud Kenyans and this day. Now, how about your school? From primary, you went primary to primary, and secondary, and what?
As I stated before, I went to Siranga Primary School, which is the local. It's a foundational school covering 4 communities known as KAIS, and when I finished class 8, I was the school head prefect. Then I went to Nia Girls, and the leadership still continued, and I served as the history prefect from Form 1 to Form 4. And also because of extracurricular activities, I was the school main goalkeeper for hockey from Form 2 to Form 4. And later I joined the University of Nairobi, where I served literally from first year in the Secretariat of SONU, in the college-based organization as the Gender Affairs Director, and the overall university student leadership as the Gender Affairs Director. Then, because of goonism, hooliganism, and the things that SONU didn't stand for, because SONU is known as, like if you look at Honorable Mwandawiro Mghanga, their cohort fought for second liberation, and somebody like Tito Adungosi lost his life in the struggle. He paid by his blood. So by the time in 21st century, SONU was not standing for what it stood for and what it was known for. So I decided to challenge Honorable Babu Owino of Embakasi East directly, because I didn't believe in the SONU they were championing for. I wanted a space where we can groom leaders for Kenya and not hooliganism, where there is inclusivity. And one of the key achievements I am proud of today, I managed to stop them from changing the SONU constitution to favor individuals. And because we really believed in, a few of us really believed in the future of SONU, but when we could not manage to do this, the Parliament of Kenya stepped in through Honorable Duale, and they abolished SONU. Yeah, which it's sad for a brand, for an institution that really championed for so many things in this country. And I hope one day and very soon we can repeal this and rebrand SONU in more reformed way and more futuristic and visionary way for the sake of this country. Thank you so much.
And now Achieng,
Yes.
how did the hooliganism in Sonu manifest itself, and how did it start? How did it manifest?
Over time, we know that policies are progressive, and Kenya has championed for inclusivity and ending marginalization. So when they introduced the self-sponsored students, they felt like they're paying school fees, they're paying the money to be members of SONU, but they're locked out. So for inclusivity purposes, the institution allowed self-sponsored students to vie for executive positions, something that was really controlled. And this is how the hooliganism started, Goonism started, and also there came a chance where a situation whereby students enroll for a 4-year course will take 10 years to graduate. So they've known the system. You know, the only difference between us and Satan has been here for so long. He has experience, he knows things, and he can maneuver. So if somebody's been in university for 10 years, definitely they know all the corridors, and this is how all this patched in. Yes.
And how did the university administration and the government, what role did it play for or against progressive SOM?
There have been constant intervention from both sides to revive and restore the soul of SONU, the true soul of SONU. And things move very fast, especially in the age of technology, access to information. So, and we understand that there's always external pressure on the student leadership. And this is how, because it moved so fast. In the age of technology, it is about how to deal with the morphing. Like when we saw the Gen Z agitation in 2024 June, it moved so fast. As much as the government was trying to intervene, it was transforming, like it was, the metamorphosis was so fast. So this is how the metamorphosis, I think, was more catalyzed and advanced by technology and wokeness, the woke culture, the cancel culture. Thank you.
Was money involved in the politics? Because I remember during our time,
Yes,
we had no issue with the money. People are contributing actually voluntarily some money and use it for social welfare organization, and money was also an issue. Maybe the condition for the university during our time were much better. We are not hungry. We were getting some pocket money from the administration. How was the condition of the university during your time, and how did money contribute in the politics of the university?
Yes, money was the biggest motivator, because at a point, as SONU executive through the chairman, you are controlling 35 million Kenya shillings. And also you have access to other external resources. Yeah, like I remember when I vied when I went the second time to vie for contest for the chairmanship as a running mate to a candidate, I'd decided, because I'd spent so much energy to streamline things in terms of gender and inclusivity, it was really energy draining. So I'd made a decision, I want to focus on my studies, I've done my part. And I got a call when I was doing devolution training in Siaya by my member of parliament that they'd scanned the university and they thought everything landed on me, that I could help them achieve an agenda. And when he explained to me, it aligned with what I believed in, which was reformation, justice, transparency, and removing corruption out of the system, out of the university. So that is how I got myself embraced. So money has been a critical, money, the privileges and the power that come with it. Because the University of Nairobi is strategically located. It controls all the major highways. We have the main campus. If today you call protest, and that is how the University of Nairobi managed in our time to contribute to some issues. If you call a protest today at University of Nairobi, you will block the University Way, you will block the State House Road, you will block Wayaki Way through Upper Kabete, you will block Spring Valley through Lower Kabete, you will block the Kenya Science side through Kenya Science campus, you will block the major, and you will stop the Kenyan economy. And the economy is the heartbeat. So that strategy applied in the 9 sectors would help send our voice, because if you are not heard through negotiation and dialogue, then you use what you have at hand, which is blocking all the major highways and stopping like if you stop the Kenyan economy for a day, the government will listen to you. Yeah.
No, yeah. In fact, I'm still insisting on this question. The Vice Chancellor, University Administration, and money. There is no way that money could have reached students, even if it is them, their contribution level of students, go to individuals without the university control. What was the role of the Vice Chancellor and the university in terms of money issue, student politics?
I think, may God rest his soul in peace and his memory remain a blessing to us, and that is Professor George Magoha. I think if there is somebody who tried so much and gave his all to the university, was the good Professor George Magoha. Because when Gunship built up, he used to remind us, and this was funny because Professor Magoha will come with his gun, wiping like this, and he'll tell you, if you think you are a goon, I'm the chief goon. So, yeah, so, because you saw, I will attribute it to Gen Z. You see, every generation, you become smarter than the system. Like your kids, when they're stealing sugar, you know, recently, I will give example of my daughter. Recently, I didn't want her to carry 2 items to school. They were the same. So I was like, let me keep you this one, then go to school with this, the other one. You'll take this during the half term. You know, she woke up at 7:30 a.m. and she's like, Mom, where did you keep that one? So I'm like helping her to search. And she has packed it in the box of the her shoes. So every generation is always smarter than the system. So that is how Gen Z managed to outsmart the system. And that is how every time you become smarter than your parents. So as much as Professor Magoha was like, I'm goon wiping his gun, you're always looking for other ways to outsmart the system.
But Magoha, who also happened to be from Starehe Police Center like me.
Yes.
Of course, yes, he was ahead of me many times, several years. But he's an alumni of Starehe Police Center. Yes. But how was he able to get to the money? I'm saying, how did the money come and bring constitution in the university when he's a vice chancellor? I think money to be used to bring chaos.
No, I think personally, I'll always vouch for Professor Magoha because I was there. Because you remember when Professor Magoha left the system, the university is still struggling to date. Because they Professor Mbidi came in to replace Magoha, and he couldn't do the full term.
Then after the student money, I'm not talking about the general money.
The student money.
Because
there is
without the authorization from the university administration, that money cannot even come. Although it is actually deducted for students, but the people have to administer the university administration.
I think what I said before. Today I can request my parent or my guardian for money to buy sugar, but I go buy cigarette. Yeah? So it will be approved for sugar, but you end up buying cigarette. So the intention of the administration is right, but the end user is wrong. And also talking about the external influence and pressures. So it's not only about the SONU budget or the SONU money, but also influence from the outside. Yeah, so it remains a complex situation.
But that money is massive, and the advanced administration cannot just let it be used by goons.
It wasn't okay. I will not want to comment about this further,
yes,
because it's a very complex and emotive issue. Yeah, but the university tried a lot of mitigation measures. Like even recently, we had a courtesy call with the current DVC Finance, and he was telling us, by that time he was Dean of Students of Business School, Mombasa campus. He was telling us how the university, when I vied, how the university was so determined, because I really went through a lot. I missed shooting twice. I had to be put in a safe house for a week as a student.
Because of
our cars were spoiled, like 8 cars, until the person I was vying with just was like, my energy is drained, I cannot keep on this, and he retreated to comfort zone. So what the university did, they tried to print the ballot papers 2 hours before the voting, so as to stop any rigging. So he told us how they for 3 days they never slept to ensure that this is done, and students voted rightly. And when it came to the tallying, we were winning, so chaos began. Yeah, so they really did everything. But yeah, so I really think they were so determined to help.
What I'm saying,
yes,
if you are determined to help, how would they like the man or that money to go in the hands of what you call the fact? Because I am told, I've heard, I don't know whether you're telling me whether it's true, you are so agitated, you had even slapped somebody. Is it true?
I don't entertain mediocrity, so that was no way I was going to. No, it's nowadays your friends,
yes,
and with maturity you practice restraint.
Yes.
You know whatever you did when you in 1983, some of the things you cannot do today.
I know.
But for the sake of sanity,
yes,
there are some measures you have to take. So personally, I don't entertain mediocrity. Yeah. So if you are trying to be a mediocre, I was raised by a very strict father. Yes. So who never entertained mediocrity. Actually, my father resigned from being a councillor because they were lying and they were not keeping time. So he was like, I don't have business with you people. So
I'm not going to ask you whom you slapped.
It was a matter of life and
death. I know. And then now, the other thing, why I'm asking this question?
Yes.
I'm really intrigued because, like yourself, I'm part of a SONU alumni.
Yeah.
Now, during our time, of course, times have changed. Even the condition of the university is different.
Yeah.
I think maybe now students face more hardship in that time of survival.
Yeah.
But we got no problem. We're just living like we're living here now. That time.
Okay.
And getting some money and so forth. And then our campaign students, they are not difficult. We just go to Great Court when we are campaigning, and we stand. This is reflecting the one-party system that time. Tunakaa huko, if there are 6 candidates running for the chairmanship, we go and all standing in the Kamkunji in Great Court, and everybody asks for votes directly from the students who will come. And there are many, always without the meeting. We go to box, and then we ask when they come, all of them, Mary's vote. And then there are times also we go to Kabete campus, and then we go to Chiromo, and then we go to medical school at Kenyatta and all meeting. So there was no issue of money is
involved.
And no, nothing like that happened. What on a more, who are also very people, they were not tribal politics that time. If they were, then they'll never be student leader. Sababu nini wataita nyongapi? Reflected in the whole thing, wanabuza walikuwa kidogo think as people. And what is the difference did you see between that kind of where we came? And the money was little, of course. Hiyo tunakata ni shilingi 20, but it was enough money often to make a lot of things. But we used it for student welfare. We had a lot of public lectures to bring people from all the people were struggling for independence in South Africa, ANC, Pan-Africanist Congress, in Zimbabwe, SWAPO, Southwest African Union, Namibia, and Mozambique, and many people, lecturers coming from everywhere. We will organize a lot of them, organize for social things like music, and so forth, like that. That's the way the money was for welfare. But maybe because we were also we were eating very well that time, and getting the boom. The boom was quite okay. So I don't know what was different.
It was very interesting because I've had experience both with SODU of my time and the national politics from grassroots level, county level to national level, actively involved. And I can say I would rather go for national politics than what I experienced in SONU. Not because of the money, because it was people were very like, if I was competing for, let's say, academic affairs director and my competitors are 3, it is a do or die. So it made the competition so aggressive competition, and sometimes the competition will be bloody and people will devise mechanisms to lock out their opponent, because the end goal, no politician wants an opponent. So if you can eliminate your opponent before the voting, you'll do anything. So most of the time people are trying to eliminate the opponent so that you go unopposed, because you can never, so long as both of you reach the ballot box or the booth, the pendulum can swing either way. So it was very, very aggressive competition, and this made, unlike your time where you'll go and people collect, you'll have to individually sell your agenda, like devise your campaign and also look for the team to align with, which also you might make a mistake after you've done a lot of donkey work. So it was very sensitive, and you had to be really, really resilient.
It was like national politics.
It was more thorough than the national politics, because I've been there.
What was being competed about?
To the power, the privileges, and the access. Because you have access to money, you have access to offices. When you knock a door as a SONU person, as a SONU executive, doors will open for you.
I know.
Yeah, because, so people fought to get. It was, and also like when I vied, I came from a satellite campus, and it was like an unwritten rule that people.
Were you in Kabete by?
Yeah, I was in Upper Kabete. Yeah, okay. Kabete Ngombe. So the Kabete Ngombe, Kabete Pesa, which is Lower Kabete, and Kikuyu and Kenya Science had like a coalition and a MOU that anybody who vies for executive position, they will support as a block. So they will lock the main campuses, and out of survival as minorities, as a minority, you always craft ways to survive. So it made the race more interesting, but more aggressive and more competitive. But I'm proud of myself. I managed to break the ceiling and give the satellite campuses the first executive position. Yeah.
And maybe soon.
Yes.
Does it exist now?
It doesn't exist now. Right now we have UNSA, and it's a sad situation.
Where did this when did it?
10 years ago, there was a repeal to help in getting goons out of the system.
Hmm?
Yeah.
By
the Parliament of Kenya.
To get the goons.
So to get the grooming of hooligans and hooliganism.
So was seen as grooming hooligan.
Yeah, it was seen as a ground for grooming hooligans.
So the Kenyan government directly now run the university students' politics.
No, it's like all the bills that become law or that get repealed in the Kenyan Parliament, because this is the legislative body. It intervened, but it was a linear intervention without public participation, because there were other options, there were other solutions. Because as person who was involved, I will say that most of the time the leaders, personally, if I had a mentor, like if I had your team, people like Kabando or Kabando, come back to mentor us and guide us and show us the way, we will not have the spillover, because there was a gap in mentorship. And also the primary reason people go to the university is for academic purposes, but leadership is an accessory or more secondary, and more for the future of the nation, grooming the future of the nation. So there were other solutions, but sometimes when pushed to the wall, we think that whatever is at hand is the best solution, but later you realize that it was linear and not more inclusive solution. Yeah.
Okay, you know, when we entered the university in 1980, October 1980, there was no son. We had existed NUSU, National Union of Students of University of Nairobi.
Yes.
NUSU. But there are one which is to go to now. Orengo. Rumba Kenusia was the chairman before. And then he stayed for them. There as that organization, because they have put some university act which had removed Muslim and student organization, but we had to force to repeal that. And now it means the other way around, to repeal that. We cannot see, we are administered by the parliament outside, parliamentary act inside the student politics. Because now a university is a higher institute of learning where people are trained to think freely and openly, widely. So you cannot now be organized from that side within. Now it is a sad scenario where now the government now is running student organization or politics or establishing a law to control.
I think that is
How did it happen?
That is a very good concern. But I want to remind you that history has a tendency of repeating itself, first as a tragedy or by accident, but second as a facade. And you just highlighted there is a time the student organization was stopped because of the agitations, and the government saw it as a threat. And unfortunately, it happened again in 21st century. And things change. And personally, I want to cast more blame to the older leaders, to the older student leaders, because when you do not go back to guide or you don't mentor others, people might go the wrong way. People might come up, like remember the children of Israel. Moses just went to the mountain for 40 days. When he came back, because there was no leadership, there was no guidance, they'd made themselves other gods. So when you don't have older eyes, when you don't have guidance, things might go wrong anytime because people try everything. Yes.
Thank you very much for that. And actually, I congratulate you for that position, and I think that's why you are now forming the Son Alumni.
Yes.
Where you have invited me to join, and I proudly join. I have told you I have that support, and I agree with you that if we forget our history or keep on abandoning and forming other ones, then we do not help go forward. And I think that's one of the reasons why you form Son Alumni, and why the student organization Son should still be alive. It's because of that decision that we cannot train free individuals who think freely and openly. At that level, when we control them, at that level, people should be able to think and make independent decisions. We are not supposed to use any law or anything to think for them. They should organize. We cannot say a chaos can exist and people be intimidated by chaos or some thugs. I don't want to name their names. And so we give in to them, and even after they get outside parliament, they are elected to parliament. And then people say, now if you are thug in the University of Nairobi, then you are going to do what? To be elected. Then that's such kind of things that I'm agree with you. There is a need of intergenerational dialogue, even within the university thing, so that people can move forward.
I'm really appreciative of that. In our work in Kenya, and where history is recorded right, every person, even young people, should know about Titwa Dugosi. If Honorable Mwandawiro Mghanga walks, they should know. If somebody like Oduoro when walks somewhere, they should know. And even all those people who are tortured for the sake of Kenya, the democratic, expansive democratic space and unlimited freedom of speech we enjoy as a country. And what motivated me so much was being a student in Israel. We realized that, I'll just give you a brief story, how they document their history. And there is an Operation Thunderbolt that happened in 1976. Before 1976, because the founding president was still alive, by Yoni Netanyahu, who is the brother to the current Prime Minister of Israel, Bibi Netanyahu. And they still remember to date, and they are friends with Kenya because they saw Kenya help them at that critical point. So it is something, as a Kenyan, you meet any Israeli and they're like, oh wow, you people, you remember Yoni Netanyahu? So everybody knows about Yoni Netanyahu. Every Israeli child knows about Moshe, who we call Moses. They know 5,000 years ago Moses helped them from Egypt back to the promised land. They know about Queen Esther, how she intervened against Haman. Yes. The history is alive. They know about the Maccabees, the miracle of light, and they celebrate them in 3 days, in 7 days nationally, and they keep it at heart. So if we cannot appreciate our history, if we cannot cast as passion to, like for example, may his soul rest in peace, and his whatever he fought for remain a legacy and kept to generations. That is right, Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. But there were also other people who contributed. There are other people. You need a leader, but you have to work collectively. Because if it was not collective action, you will not have achieved the agenda. There is no single day. In Swahili we say kidole kimoja hakivunji chawa. Hakijawahi vunja chawa. And that is why even today, I keep telling the group calling themselves Gen Zs, because I don't take them seriously, you cannot think that Kenya started in 2000. There was Kenya before colonialism. There was Kenya during our founding president. There was Kenya during Moi, where people really were tortured. And there was Kenya. Kenya has always been there. Na tutaacha Kenya. How I will live in Kenya. And that is why I believe in intergenerational hybrid solution. I don't believe in in singular solutions. Yeah, thank you.
Asante sana. Thank you very, very much.
I don't take Gen Z seriously.
Because yeah,
they believe in things that it's like they live in a bubble that if you pop it is bursting. They don't want to listen to anybody. They think they know everything. So there is need.
Artificial intelligence.
Yes, they think that instant life is about instant solution, like microwaving solution. No. Yeah. You take. People have paid the price, and you need to listen to everybody. And that is why I also don't support currently the conversation that young people should take power. Because all this is gold and all this wisdom, and they are custodian of experiences. Today, if I sit with somebody who is 97 years old, they might tell me something that happened that I don't know. So we need everybody on board. We need integrated solutions. Not one group feeling that they're more knowledgeable, they're more, because ujana ni kama moshi, kila mtu amekuwa kijana. And when you do things in a hurry, you will eat githeri with sand. So you have to be very careful. Yeah.
Now you are a student leader.
Yes.
At this time, really, Kenyan lead young people like you to go forward.
Yes.
People. What are you thinking about the Kenyan context today, and what role do you think you are going to play?
I'm always a very optimistic person, and I try to look for, even in darkest lining, I always try to pick the light and give everybody their a pat on the back. Like for example, most of we talk about, and with a lot of humility, we talk about the second president of Kenya, mostly with regards towards second liberation. But there is something he did very interesting, is setting the foundation of education system in this country. And if you go globally, Kenyans are known for their academic achievement. And we give a lot of, because he was a teacher. Every president does what they're good at. He was a teacher. We have a political science president who did a lot of political interventions. That is the former president, Uhuru Kenyatta. We had an economist who focused on economy. We have an ecologist who is trying to manage to balance ecosystem. So as a person, I try to look at, even in the darkest, pick the light and be positive. I'm a patriotic young Kenyan. I'm actively involved in the discussion. Where Kenya is agenda, I get involved. And I see a silver lining at the end of the tunnel for Kenya.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
And now, if you look at Kenya today,
yes,
especially Kenya, why Kenya cannot be said is a poor country?
Yeah.
It's actually a very rich country.
Yes.
You can even infer by just observations. You can see the kind of cars which move around. They are new cars, very big cars. They all buy fuel, and we don't produce fuel here. They buy with dollars. Get petrol stations are always open, and people are working here. If you go along Mombasa Road, you find about six SGs, SGR, going to Mombasa. One going, six going, six coming, carrying luggages. And the Kenya Railway also about six, carrying things and going back. And then you see also there are a lot of, the Mombasa Road is always locked with, up to Busia with the lorries. Up to there, that's why there are a lot of accidents. And you can see wealth elsewhere, even the middle class. People eat, people like here where you spend 5,000 to eat lunch, lunch. There are many full here in this country, the middle class. Yet still, many people are very poor. Land, when you talk about land is everywhere empty. You go to Taveta, is empty. Yet it is owned by other people, and many people are landless, forced to live in slums. Now, with this kind of scenario, how would you think if you are an elected leader? And my personal, I believe you depend on people like you, young people like you.
Thank you so much.
How do you think you interpret this kind of thing?
Thank you so much. As I said before, I'm very personally, with the experience and exposure, I'm very appreciative of generations before us because they've done a lot, and the success and the milestones we have achieved as a country compared to our neighbors. Though I prefer to compare Kenya to Singapore because we were at the same time. Malaysia, we were at the same level at independence. We are even way better than them. If you read, and we have some of the best blueprints. So, as the late Honorable J.M. Kariuki said, Kenya is a country of 10 millionaires or billionaires and 110 million poor people. It's still the bridge between the poor and the rich keeps widening. And when you're talking about this, I remember I once ran Airbnb business, and I hosted this Indian somewhere at Long Kileleshwa, and he used to go to the road and wonder, in Kenya everybody drive 4-wheel car. It doesn't even happen in India, so so I was so mesmerized. So I think, and having I'm a strong, I really wish to have met Lee Kuan Yew alive, because when I was in college, one of documentary our college principal as college leaders she will expose us to was the documentary of Lee Kuan Yew and how much he paid the price to have Singapore be Singapore today, because it was way worse than Kenya. And you realize that this is a person who his life as a founding father dedicated, he used economy class flights. If the family was interested in doing business with the government, they will be subjected to the same rules. He was frugal, but in the end of the day, he built a strong foundation. And also, like how the American founding fathers built America. Any successful nation, there are people, any successful nation, the founding fathers had a vision. They had vision beyond them. So, and I don't believe in a singular economic solution. I believe in integrated economic solution. I believe we should blend capitalism with socialism, with communism, so that it is tailored and it's localized to, because in the pre-colonial Africa, systems used to work. Like where I come from, there was nobody who died of hunger because they set like 3 homes whereby widows knew where they'll go in case there is problem. Orphans were kept in a certain family, and the leader of that society cared for each other. So the system worked, and I always believe in alternatives. I don't believe in single solution. So if I'm to be elected leader in this country, one thing is to do with corruption and also remove nepotism. I should not be qualified by the name I carry, but by through excellence and merit. Yeah.
Talking about where you come from.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And where you are beginning your aspiration to becoming a Kenyan leader.
Yes.
Your base is CIS.
Yes.
Now, what are the 3 major problems you identify in here, and what do you suggest you do?
I think our issues, as I wind up, I think our issues still remain 3 that we had at independence: ignorance, poverty, and disease. Because ignorance is not a human's right, and you cannot use ignorance to defend yourself in court of law. if we refuse knowledge, even the Bible says that my people perish because of lack of knowledge. If we refuse knowledge, progress will refuse us, or knowledge will also refuse us. So we make many people politically literate, because even the act of doing nothing is political. So you cannot say that you are not political, because it's the legislators who determine the cost of unga. They can today wake up and say unga is 2 shillings, and tomorrow they can wake up and say unga is 200 shillings. So the goal is to make systems work. And I've traveled globally, and global exposure where systems work, and I believe with the right leadership and able governance, systems can work and institutions can function. It should not be about individualism. I was a foot soldier of Raila Amolo Odinga, and I believe that politics of creating deities should end in 2025. Now we should aim to create systems and institutions whereby even if you are leading a political party, it should not be about you.
Okay.
It should be about institutionalization and systemizing. That if today I am outside, the vice chair can just step in and things run.
That may be the final one.
Yes.
You may say, you may answer or not answer.
Yes.
Because he is Raila Odinga.
Yes.
A close friend and comrade. We interact many times.
Yeah.
As we are talking with him, I interacted with him when he was in Norway, in prison in Uganda, many times.
Yeah.
But you can say part of his failure was never fighting this system. He was remaining a capitalist and never sought the political system we are having here. Criticism never addressed the poverty in Kibera and other places, only concentrated on power. He had never put the agenda on this distribution. We could have done that way. Is that an example to follow?
I'll confidently answer you that as I wind up.
Yeah.
Every generation has a role to play. They have, and that is why there is a detachment of realities, because Gen Zs cannot understand. The younger people cannot understand when you talk about I was in prison for 9 years. If it is not documented, for them they have pertinent issues that are mostly catalyzed by the technology and advance, because today something can happen in Iran and I know it real time in Kenya. Before, every generation, and personally I'm always grateful for what he stood for what he fought, and I'm happy to have seen him and lived in his time, and I believe there is now a shift. We've achieved the expansive democratic space, we've achieved the unlimited freedom of speech, and now it is the gear shifts to economic and sobriety campaign for Kenya. What will our generation do?
No, thank you. Well
Thank
answered.
you so much.
In fact, one of the reasons, just to finish, advantages, in African societies, we have a lot of rich history. But the problem in our civilizations, we had hardly written tradition, apart from Egypt and Ethiopia and later. Now, Mesopotamia, that is the place where you get the Euphrates and Tigris from Syria, from where Jesus came from, Abraham came from. Those people had about 6,000 years civilization where it started there along the river, and they had the advantage of written history. That's why they have documented all the things from Noah, Abraham, everybody, Nebuchadnezzar, whatever things there is really written. So now that's why our inauguration times we should continue writing. That's why I've been requesting
I'll send
to
you.
help us this writing in CIA. Because nobody will do, and these people who resisted and did a lot of spirit and organized societies to fight for good values, you should record them. And I believe you as the resilience.
Thank you
And
so
then what
much.
you are going to do, you are going to do it soon.
Yeah.
Unless you want to ask him, let him give him two chances for them to ask you something. Then we finish.
Thank you so much.
Please.
I think
Then you animalize it. I will use this one then. Sorry, but yes.
Okay, my question is on women's rights activism and where you stand in that space. What are your main challenges in that space?
First, there will always be a struggle until everybody knows their role in the society. And it's so sad. Okay, one of the superpower today, all of us we know, is the US. It took them 100 years to have women to vote. Till to date, they're still struggling to vote the first woman president, which Africa has achieved. Because Africa, by the African governance system was very good. It was very inclusive and very supportive. Everybody knew their role. Like where I come from, the Luo communities are it's very liberal community, because even in the naming, I can easily pick a man's name and go with it. Yeah, very, very liberal, very futuristic. So where I stand I don't believe in toxic feminism, but I believe in people reasoning together. So that because if one thing I learned from my older generation, because we have a system of transferring oral knowledge, whereby young girls will sit with their grandmothers, their aunties, and they will learn the ways of the community or the society. And young boys also will during meal times. But fortunately, I spent more time with my father because I was named after his brother, whom he loved so much. And unless we understand clearly the roles and delegation of roles, as a woman, I believe in soft power also. And I don't believe in thorax, because when you fight the system will fight back. So we need to be more strategic as women.
We have to slap somebody.
No, like when to put, in law. I will finish with this because in law communities, the true custodians of power and authority are women. They are the mothers, because these are the most prayerful people. Unonanga, on a lighter note, tunasemanga, young women, they look at the mountain because they cannot imagine living with their mothers again. Because our mothers are very strict. There are no nonsense. If they say right, you'll follow right. And that is the woman power. Actually, the people who hold the strongest power is women. And we just don't understand. Coming from a low background, I understand that, because growing up, our father would not even cane us. He'll just document all your mistakes. Then when our mom comes, he will report. And the beating you will get. So he'll even laugh with you. Him was external. But for the discipline and what, our mothers were the deputy principals. They'll get mistake even when you didn't do anything, but they'll get it if they want. So I believe in women power, but we have to be very strategic. Yeah, thank you so much.
The last one I could after Manzi. Last one. Just come on,
getting.
Yes.
How the youth will navigate this negative politics in this country without an ideology. What ideology is there?
Okay, I hope as I wind up now, I don't take the group that call itself Gen Z seriously, because anything that does not have a leader becomes a monster. Anything that is partyless will lead us into anarchy. You have to organize yourself, show us this is our leader, this is the person we are following.
Are you telling her? Tell her.
You cannot and have ideas at hand. If it is economic solution, or if you are helping in health, because right now after COVID, post-COVID, one issue that the country is grappling with, because I've been a guardian to a teenager who is now first year, is drug abuse, and it's so bad. So if you do not have an agenda on the table, if you want to build a house, you cannot just wake up and start building. You have to develop a blueprint and follow it brick by brick. So if there is a silent generation that Kenya is not giving attention, and it's the millennials, these people between 30 and 40 years. These people mean so well for this nation. And they sit down every single day to think about this country. And the discussion, as I wound up, should be intergenerational. You should be on the table, he should be on the table, he should be on the table, everybody should be on the table to give solution, because nobody has monopoly of a solution.
We are all living in this.
Yes, it's not cast on the stone. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, comrade Jennifer Achieng Masawa, for your wisdom, you can say. Asante sana.
Asante sana.
We appreciate this very much.
Asante.